In September, Jed and I took a trip back home to Montana to see our family and climb. Whenever I go back home, I'm always overwhelmed with the mixture between the old familiar things I once knew and the ways in which they have changed and molded themselves into new things that I have yet to experience. The pieces of my grandparents' house that remind me of what my life once used to be. The things in these houses feel so safe. They wrap their essence of comfort around me tightly. The carpet is plush and soft and clean.
This old lady.
Say hi to everyone.
Wheel bearing. Seems like a little bit of corn these days, but I mean the Prius. Oh. Yeah.
Hi, baby.
You're so little.
This is Curious George.
Are you curious?
Curious George?
Not really, that's what I call her.
Oh, she's a real sweetheart.
Jed's family has gotten a new cat. It wanders around through the garden and over towards the parallel bars Jed grew up playing on as a kid. I try to picture a little Jed running around in glasses trying to keep up with his older siblings. The current Jed is putting license plates on the car his family has loaned us for our climbing adventures. Brand new Buick, 1963. Just kidding. Now, I don't know if I've ever taken you guys through the steps of how to choose the perfect car for a climbing trip, but I won't go too much into detail. Dents are the number one thing that you're looking for. Alright, so we are on our way to Red Lodge, to a place called the Ovens to go climb. There's something about being back home that just, it feels very familiar and comforting, but I'm also excited to go to a place that's unfamiliar. Neither of us have been here before. Well, we've been to Red Lodge. We've been to Red Lodge like
Almost every time we come back.
we've been to Red Lodge so many times and we've never climbed. So the rock here is very different than the rock in Ohio, or the eastern part of the US. So at this point, we're not really sure which route is exactly what. We found what we think is a 5/8. We're gonna start with that just because it's a different type of rock. We don't know what we can necessarily climb here yet. And we think that the route is either starch or beef jello, or maybe a different route. We'll update you. A ladybug just landed on me. Hello, guy. For most of the afternoon, Jed and I had the whole crag to ourselves. It was a relatively hot Montana day. I always forget how big and open the skies and spaces feel back home. This first route was a good test of nerves, just like being on a new type of rock always is for me. I like to lead things because it provides a good mental challenge, and leading on unfamiliar rock is a level above my typical comfort range. I think it's good to push yourself mentally as a climber, because a lot of this sport happens inside of your head. So I just got done with the first route. It was a 5/8. It's definitely a very slow and methodical type of climbing, and it's more feet than it is hands, at least on that particular route. So, very, very, very different from the style of climbing that we're accustomed to. So I think it's good for us to get used to different styles. I'm not gonna lie, we're pretty confused about what route is what. But we're gonna try this one that just goes straight up. It's towards the middle.
Trance I stepped into an elevator that kept hurting down.
The music was on repeat. I could have been there for weeks. Didn't know when it would stop. I begged for it to let me off. And while I was begging, they played music and it went a bit like this.
A lot of the routes at the ovens felt pretty similar to me. As I climbed more, I felt more and more comfortable with the rock type. Around 5 p.m., we met some climbing and dog friends. Our new friends let us borrow the hand-drawn map they'd been given at the local ranger station, which was very helpful. I'll leave a link to a printable version in the description.
What's the hardest route out here to me?
Okay, the hardest one. Using the map, we hopped on the 10 on the far left, a route that felt the most like gym climbing out of all of the routes at the ovens.
Like I'm not getting off.
The next day, we parked at a neighborhood in the Billings Heights for an afternoon of climbing with Jed's brother, Dakota.
But now old friends hope I won't call.
Today we were climbing at the Rims, which is this band of sandstone that goes around the entire city of Billings, Montana. I say city. Billings is the biggest city in Montana, but it only has a population of like 120,000, maybe a little bit more now. Anyways, this band of sandstone is where Jed used to climb as a kid, and it was literally like 45 minutes from where I grew up in Roundup, Montana. And I'm really looking forward to getting to climb it because the very first time I ever went outdoor rock climbing, Jed took me to this spot right behind here. It's called the Walk Up, and it seemed incredibly difficult, seriously like the hardest thing I'd ever done. And I have a feeling that if I did that specific route today, it would be super easy. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to get on some sandstone. The cool thing about the Rims is, like I said before, it goes around the entire city. So the view up here is amazing because you get a view of the entire city of Billings, and it's just gorgeous. Like, look at this behind me. It's insane. The Rim sandstone feels much different than the Dolomite at the ovens. The first route we are climbing is a 50-foot 5.9- called Prime Rib.
Take your doubts and crush them all so you can see how great you are. If someone says that you are wrong, I go to them and fuck them up. Love me, love me, love me. Show you how to live your life without me. When you're ready to move on, you can leave me on my own.
pinches, and slopers. Do you guys have preferences?
I definitely like, well yeah, jugs. I definitely like crimps and pockets over slopers and pinches.
I prefer crimps and pinches. Slopers and... Because pockets I always overpull and slopers are just
I
uncomfortable.
do pockets, pinches, slopers, crimps.
Pockets, really?
Pockets, pinches, slopers. You do literally the exact opposite of mine.
I would rather pinch than crimp most of the time. Cause,
You know,
I mean, it depends. How overhung is it? How
okay,
bad is the
I don't mind pinches that are like this, but pinches that are like this.
Grabbing.
The one really fun, interesting fact here is that when you knock on parts of the rock, it sounds extremely hollow. But besides that, the route I just did was actually really fun. The whole dying because a rock pulls out, secondary. Up next was Born to Hang, a 510A. It wasn't too bad until I reached a fairly slopey section, and I decided to cheat the route by going up and to the right to get past the crux.
To show the world how good you are without me. When I'm ready to move on, it will happen all again.
I just got off Born to Hang. It was a 510A, very, very slopey on sandstone, and at the top, I would have taken my camera up, but I was climbing. At the top, there's literal grooves in the rock where the rope has worn about half a hand thick into the rock, where the rope has worn 3 separate paths. So, if you climb this route, I would encourage you to put long draws down so that the rope drags less on the rock and it preserves the rock a little bit better. The world is a really big place. There will always be new places to explore. Places that are rugged, dirty, raw, and alive. Chase these unfamiliar places and feelings, but don't forget to take time to appreciate the familiar. There are opportunities for new experiences, even in the familiar. There are memories, laughter, and caramel rolls to be shared in the kitchen.
You know what your dad wants for his birthday from me? Caramel corn doors. I want caramel corn and caramel cinnamon rolls with nuts on them. Now, I don't know if he'd call these ones caramel cinnamon rolls or not, but I would. That might be what kind he gets, but he likes nuts on it. Well, this guy doesn't like nuts on it.
Yeah, I don't think nuts belong on most desserts.